everyone, welcome back to the Create mod. So last video, we ended up building this little windmill here, which is going to be the start of our farm, but we weren't able to quite finish it due to a lack of some very vital resources that are cooking in that furnace. But we now have access to those resources, so we can finish the farm. So what we need to make are these mechanical harvesters. And what these mechanical harvesters do is whenever they run over some fully grown crops, they will automatically cut them down, put them into any inventories connected to the device, and then replant the crops without destroying the tilled dirt. So they're very useful for what we need to do. And we are going to get about 4 of them. So to get these iron sheets here, I almost said iron plates, iron sheets, we just gotta throw some of these iron ingots underneath this thing. Bonk, 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 bonk. Ta-da! The only bad news is it drained all of my hunger, and I don't think I have much food to speak of. So we better finish this farm. There we go, we got 4 mechanical harvesters. So while looking through my chest, I just found out I have a potato. So screw this wheat, we're gonna grow potatoes. And with a little bit of rearranging, we are ready to apply our mechanical harvesters. So we're just gonna slap them on like this, and since these are chassis, they will go ahead and stick without the need of any super glue or slime balls. And we also need one last thing. We need a storage device. So we are going to use, oh, that's not how you craft it. We're going to use the glorious barrel. Stick the barrels on this side and right click the windmill bearing. Oh, all right. Well, we need an adhesive substance for the barrels, but in essence, the windmill is complete. So if we right click the windmill bearing, it is now moving. And since it is moving, you see these guys are turning. So if we have any completed crops, I don't think that guy's full yet. If we have any completed crops, this will go ahead and harvest them for us. As well, it makes a pretty sweet merry-go-round. Alright, for the next order of business, we have come over here to the sea, because we need kelp. And the reason we need kelp is to be able to make belts. Belts, we're able to transport items across distances and between inventories, but more importantly, we're able to use things called encased fans that allow us to do some advanced material processing, as well as some more direct fishing. Now that I have a little bit of bone meal from fishing, we can now show off the mechanical harvesters. So if I bone meal this, now it's at fully grown, and we can watch as the harvester comes, and it breaks it, giving us some nice golden potatoes. If we had attached these barrels to it, instead of dropping it on the ground, it would have gone straight into the barrel. But currently, we don't have the ability to stick these barrels on here, because we don't have any slime balls or super glue. All right, next up, we need belts. And you make belts by grabbing some kelp and throwing it in a furnace. So once you have 6 pieces of dried kelp, instead of eating them, you're gonna put them in like a 2x3 like this, and you get a mechanical belt. Now these mechanical belts are very interesting and have some very unique properties. So to use it, you have to take some shafts here, which are just made with 2 bits of andesite alloy, and place them either in a straight line or straight diagonally. It can't be like, this will not work. It has to be along the way of the belt. I'm very good at explaining things. But once you have 2 shafts, essentially in parallel with each other is a better way of putting it, you right click on one, and then you see these little particles. That's showing off where you're trying to drag your mechanical belt to. So I can drag it to here, and they'll light up green whenever that is a valid connection. So right click, and we have a belt. Now these belts have some very unique properties. First, if you throw an item on, you see how it's not like a normal item? It's kind of like, normal items kind of rotate up and down. This one just kind of sits there. That's because it's technically on the belt, so that way you won't end up picking it up whenever you're walking across belts. But you can still right click it to get the item if needed. And then you can apply any sort of rotational force. You could either have a windmill, a water mill, or in this case, I'm just gonna demonstrate using a hand crank. So you put your rotational force onto the shaft, and then if you apply the rotation, the belt starts rotating. So if you have items on the belt, they'll rotate across. But this is not only good for transporting items. If you look over there, this shaft here is also rotating. It can be used to transfer rotational energy in a perpendicular direction to where you're supplying it. As well as if we get something called an encased fan. These encased fans allow us to manipulate the items on the belt. So if I were, as an example, if I had a cooked fish on the belt here, and there was an encased fan here with a fire in between it, it would essentially be cooking the fish. So we can cook things at an industrial level. So we're gonna get started on producing one of these industrial level blast furnaces. So we'll need a fan, some lava, and we're ready to begin. So if we line up our shafts like so, we have ample space to connect our belt. Ta-da! There's our belt. Now, you may think we're going to put the lava here and then the fan here. That's not going to work too well because we need ample... It needs to be sitting in the fire or the water or the lava for an ample amount of time. So one cheat we can do with fire and water is we can just place it on the belt. So we can place our fan like so. You can see the arrow saying which way it's going to blow. And then if we get ourselves some blocks... Now, we need to make sure items can still pass under here while this fan can still blow through here. So what I like to do is I like to use an iron trapdoor. So if we make a little containment area for the lava, we can throw the lava in. And this is essentially done, but we can make it better. First, we should probably connect up these so they're powered by the same source. For that, we're gonna need some cogs. So this is where the create mod can get very technical, because there is going to be about 100 ways we can connect up these two systems, and some will probably be more resource efficient than others. Like so. Now these two systems are technically connected, but I probably could have done this more efficiently and made it look a little bit better. But we can test out our system. Now this hand crank probably isn't going to provide enough stress capacity to run this entire thing, but it doesn't hurt to try. Oh, it does. So now if we look, the fan is blowing and the belt is turning. And if you see, if we turn it the right direction, the fan actually blows some red particles. That's showing that it's blowing lava. So what we can do is we can throw an applicable item onto the belt, like so. And then if we turn it, we should see the item pop out the other side and being cooked. But uh-oh, it doesn't look like we had enough time for the item to be cooked. This hand crank is probably a little bit too fast. As well as we don't want to be cranking this by hand, we want to use the power of automation. So we need a different source of power. Let's try a water wheel. Now with a water wheel, we can apply power by running water across it. So if I were to dig a canal under here, it doesn't look pretty, but we can change it later on. We can place a source block here. Oop, let's cover that up so we don't have water spilling everywhere. And now we have power. Now we can test out our system again. So let's throw a bit of cobblestone on the belt and watch what happens. So it comes through and it's starting to be cooked and it turns into stone. Perfect. So now what we can do is we can change the system up a little bit. And through the use of these funnels here, by placing them on some storage systems, we can fully automate the process. Now, if we throw a stack of cobblestone into here, cobblestone will be funneled out, it will proceed to go through underneath the fan, and then be cooked by the lava. So not only is this a lot quicker, and we can throw a huge amount of resources into here, but it's also 100% automated, and doesn't need any coal. And now, our stone is piling into this barrel. So we can throw any stacks upon stacks of blocks in here and get stacks upon stacks of smelted goods outside. But there is one limitation. So let's say I want to cook this potato. Let's throw it on the belt. So it will follow the same path as the cobblestone. Now in normal Minecraft, you can put potatoes and cobblestone both into a furnace and they'll both cook. So watch what happens. Looks like something's happening. Oh, but it's gone. So we cannot put potatoes in here. This is not for cooking food. This is for blasting. We can actually use JEI to confirm this. So if we press U on the potato, we can smoke the potato by placing a fan and a fire. But for cobblestone, we blast the cobblestone using lava. They're different recipes. So in order to make this work with food, we would have to build another system. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you later.